I'm here with Scott Dixon of Chip Ganassi Racing this weekend. It's your 50th IMSA start, and it's been kind of a scattershot thing over a period of 25 years. Just want to get your idea of just how IMSA's grown over the past few years from the outlook of someone that's not necessarily a regular and comes in only once in a while.
Yeah, I think, it kind of goes in waves, to be honest. I think when I first came to the series, the fields were very big, but it was a very, different car with Grand Am, and, they were kind of basic, but actually a lot of fun to drive, a sequential gearbox and, all that kind of stuff, where it's very technical now, and especially with the hybrid edition. It's interesting to be a part of these programs because there's so many areas that you can fine-tune, or driving style, even when you're driving, you can alter. So it's a lot of fun. But I'd say right now the competition level is through the roof, which is always fun to be a part of.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've had experience in GT cars, also with Ganassi, and prototypes. I mean, regular prototypes and hybrid prototypes. Yeah. 3 very different types of cars to drive. I mean, how does this current car compare to some of the previous ones you've driven?
I think they're all different. Honestly, sometimes when you've been in the sport for a little while, you kind of enjoy the earlier days when there weren't so many aids like traction control or paddle shifting or even automatic shifting in some things. So I really enjoyed the kind of early 2000s to late 2000s. But then this, I think, is a totally different level of racing. Even next level over IndyCar as far as the technical side and engineering front, which is very special to be a part of. So, it's I think for me, obviously, and any driver, it doesn't matter as long as you're winning or you've got a shot at winning and trying to be at the front. Which I think Cadillac has done a great job throughout the years.
Yeah, speaking of winning, you're coming off your 25th full year in IndyCar, well, kart/IndyCar. Yeah. You won 2 races this year on street courses, finished 6th in points. How would you describe your season?
It started well. I think up to the midway portion, we were leading the championship, even with some mishaps at Barber. Then the tyre failure we had at Road America, and then the hybrid issue we had at Mid-Ohio, and then getting crashed out at Portland. There's a ton of races that really put us in a hole, even if, I think there was kind of 5 where we had stuff out of our control, which really affected us. And with such big fields now, it really take a massive hit with points. So, performance-wise, car speed, I think we were really good. Just a frustrating year with the difficulties that we had with, DNFs and big failures throughout. So, I don't know, it makes the fire burn harder, and really looking forward to next year. But, to go, I think, 19 or 20 years consecutively with a win, it's pretty special. And obviously, all-time podiums for IndyCar with Mario was pretty cool as well. So it was a strong year, but obviously we want to win.
Anytime you're in a conversation with that man is a good time.
Oh yeah, it's been a lot of that lately, which is pretty special. He's a good friend and such a great advocate for our sport. And, obviously he raced in a lot of different categories throughout the years and was always a winner and a champion. So, to be mentioned alongside him is pretty special.
All right. Right now they're doing a hybrid test up in Indianapolis with the Indy cars. Obviously, you're not there, but you've had the opportunity to race the hybrid IndyCar in a couple of ovals. How does it work under those circumstances?
Yeah, I've never actually. I think Alex has done all the Indy testing with the hybrids, even last year. So I haven't had that opportunity. I think at the Speedway it actually is quite beneficial, I think, for racing. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, especially for 2025 Indy 500. There've been some tricky parts to it. It's a lot of work for the driver. It's not like Formula E where you're regenning and deploying and you don't have gears to change. It's very manual, very different to IMSA, where it's quite automated on the backside. So for me, it's been definitely a challenge for all of us, but something that it's part of the sport. You got to adapt to it, and I think changes along the way are a lot of fun. In the first couple of seasons when you get them.
All right, man. Earlier this week, they announced the new Grand Prix of Arlington that's going to be in 2026 around AT&T Stadium in Globe Life Park for the Texas Rangers. They released the circuit with the dual pit roads and kind of a twisty 2.73 mile circuit. Do you have any thoughts on it?
Excited. It's a demographic in an area that is huge for us, and I think to have the partnership that they do with those organizations is huge. It's a great way to go into that race for the first time. For a street course, it's kind of a long track. The straights look very long, so I expect the racing to be fantastic. I'd say the only downside is that we wish it was for 2025, so we'll have to wait another year. But there's definitely some more big announcements, I think, in the pipeline that are going to come out probably in the next few months here for IndyCar, which is huge, and going to some new tracks or revisiting some old tracks. So looking forward to that. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, as a veteran IndyCar driver, where do you feel the sport is right now overall growth-wise? Teams are up. We had 27 for cars for a lot of the season. Now we got the new charter system coming in. Where do you think IndyCar can go from here?
Hopefully up. I think it's definitely been in a rebuilding phase. There's been a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Obviously, COVID for a lot of people, was a different, kind of change for a lot of people. But obviously, for IndyCar, it was change of ownership as well. So, as long as they keep doing, building on these new venues, I think we need to get to more tracks. We need to get to some new ones. We need to get to some better circuits, which I think is definitely going to happen. I think obviously the partnership with Fox is going to be huge. I think it's in a great, I think with sponsorship and, as you said, with car count, with the charter system, it's going to make it difficult to really add any more now. But there's a lot of teams that want to be involved, so that'd be interesting to see how that plays out for the future.
Yeah, it's unclear how that's going to work. I believe there's 25 charters so far.
Yeah, 25 locked in, and then I think only 22 get Leaders Circle money. So there'll be a couple of different races going on each year for the championship points, and then obviously who can qualify each weekend if you get more than 27.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, the Leader Circle was already existent, so and that was already a race.
Leader Circle for sure. Yeah. That's been in the I guess. Yeah, maybe 5 or more years now, maybe a little bit more. I think it went through some changes throughout the years, but it's a staple right now.
Yeah, I believe the 22 is a fairly standard amount for that.
Yeah, I think if you got the charter system locked in at 25, it probably needs to expand to the 25, and then you have the race for the 25th spot for charter. I think the whole premise situation right now with where they've kind of grandfathered them in, not into the charter system, but locked in at least for the cap on 27. But if you get any other teams that want to run additional cars, it's going to get pretty interesting, and at a point which I don't really remember being a part of, where you'll be sending cars home.
Yeah, I don't recall that being a thing outside of Indy during your career.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But it did happen in the 80s.
Yeah,
that was the days of promoters, auctions,
exactly.
And all that kind of...
A lot of gray areas.
Yeah, it's the kind of stuff that if you watched the race from, say, Portland in 85, and you heard that on ESPN, you'd be like, what the deuce is that?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem now is just really pit lanes. A lot of circuits, especially like Mid-Ohio, Toronto, a lot of those tracks, you just can't fit any more cars on the track, and Thermal's probably going to be in the same situation, for the race there this year as well.
Yes, that's why we see these dual pit lanes in Arlington
popping up.
Detroit. And
I think we've been pretty lucky with that stuff so far.
Yeah, nothing sketchy. So
No.
Makes me happy.
Yeah.
But anyway, the last time I had a chance to talk to you was right when the Ford program ended here.
Wow, a little while ago,
yeah, that was 5-6 years ago now.
Yep.
But I mean, you've had a lot of fun driving this Cadillac V Series R. I mean, what are you gonna remember from this car?
I guess being part of the program right from the get-go, and the development of it. But you get to work with a lot of amazing people. I think that's what you take away most of the time, is the friendships that you've built, and sometimes you kind of cross paths with people that you had in previous races and things like that, or championships. But Yeah, I don't know. I think just being part of this team, as I kind of alluded to earlier, it's very difficult to be in any of these, kind of OEM teams right now. It's definitely a fight to be a part of it. But yeah, real proud to be a part of Cadillac. What they've achieved. Obviously we would have liked to have achieved a lot more and won more races. But yeah, it's always sad when you leave a program.
Do you have any sports car plans for next year, knowing that Ganassi's no longer with Cadillac next year?
Yeah, I'm all sorted for next year. So all 3 drivers are set for next season, and obviously with different manufacturers, and I think even maybe with in WECA post IMSA as well. So yeah.
Sounds interesting. We'll hear about that in the near future.
Oh yeah, next week I think.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.